What? It's the second time this week. Good morning, David. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Andrew?
Yeah, we loved it so much. We had to come back and lighten up everyone's weekend. So back by popular demand. I'm Andrew Sparrow.
This is David Mann.
Welcome, everybody. Sit tight. We are doing a boutique little show where I am talking 3DExperience internship, how vital it is that we bring in new talent to this innovation and design world that we operate in. And David, you're talking.
I'm doing a deep dive into a little bit more in electrical engineering.
Perfect. So let us get the show on the road. David, there is no doubt the electrical design world is getting more and more demanding and more in demand. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think if we look at the products that companies are building today, we're seeing a definite trend moving towards more and more connected and more demanding applications in terms of the electronics and the electrical systems in those products. So if you look at the trends in electric aviation, electric vehicles, even electrification of other products in the house or even the house itself, businesses, etc., the management of electricity and the signals that are being sent over are becoming more and more prevalent.
Yeah, it's a big one. I mean, it's the whole environmental side of things. It's a step in the right direction. And while, yeah, we've still got gas-fired plants and coal-fired plants, but the reality is, even with them still running, bringing in electrification is starting to make things a lot more sustainable. And we'll fix those things as we go as well. Yeah. So why is CATIA Electrical useful for electrical engineers?
So electrical engineers typically work in a tool that's separated out from the rest of the organization. They build their cables, their harnesses, their electrical systems, and they're doing that in a way that is kind of disconnected from the way the mechanical design is going on, the way the manufacturing prep is going on, and they throw it over the wall. And that allows them to be extremely efficient. But when we look at the impact of the overall organization and how that time frame is expanded because there's this back and forth, they end up losing a lot of time. And what CATIA really brings to the table is a way of getting those electrical engineers into the same environment as the mechanical engineers, the manufacturing engineers, the supplier managers, and all these other people in the organization working on the product, and allow them to basically interact and get those decisions made much faster. You know, when you talk to an engineer, they'll say, "Oh, well, you know, I'm much faster myself in this other tool." Yeah. But you know, it might take them an extra minute to do something different in CATIA, but then there's a 2-day delay when they're trying to get approval or do the synchronization with the mechanical guys.
You bet.
So the differences are huge. And that's what CATIA is really bringing to this table, is one common environment.
So in terms of, there's a lot of new stuff going on, got battery design, you got electromagnetics happening. How would you get started with electrical motor design or electrical harnessing in CATIA? What are the kind of the steps you go through?
So when dealing with electrical, there's some very common processes. I mean, you start with the schematic, which basically outlines, the components you're using and how they're connected together, just kind of in a logical fashion. Just I'm going to have this output on this component going to this output on this component. So you start with your schematic. Then once you're done with your schematic and you know how your system is going to be kind of overall layout, you move into a 3D design process. So you take that schematic and you move it into kind of a reality. What is, when I want to take this cable or this harness from point A to point B, how do I route that cable through my structure, whether it be in a car, an airplane, a boat, a computer, whatever it's going to be? How do I route that cable through there and attach it? Because you don't have cables just kind of flying off all over the place. How do I do my splicing? How do I manage that 3D cable? How do I manage the curve of the cable as it goes in? Because you can't just bend a cable at 90 degrees. So you do all of this work in 3D, and you could generate this 3D model of your cable and your harness with all the electrical characteristics and things like that. And then you need to move on to manufacturing. So you got to build this cable that you've just built, you've just designed. And generally the way in the industry that cables are manufactured is something called a form board, a foam board, or a peg board. Mm-hmm. That's basically taking your 3D cable, which is going to look like a tree, is kind of growing up in 3D, say around the electrical parts of a seat. in a vehicle, with all the different controls in the back, back push. So you get a tree structure, and you need to take that and flatten it out, because when you're going to build the cable, it's got to be essentially flat. So there's a whole process of cable flattening, and then preparing it for that form board. So you're going to go through and do that whole preparation process. And once you've done that, you're ready to manufacture. You hand that plan over to the manufacturing with the drawings, and the preparation for the form board, and they're ready to go.
You bet. You bet.
Now, there is one area where CATIA kind of takes it to an extra level, because when we talk about these cables and harnesses, typically they were carrying just electricity. Mm-hmm. But now, when these connected products and a lot more data flowing, for example, through your car, when you're talking about an autonomous vehicle, it's got sensors everywhere. These sensors are not just saying electricity, they're sending data.
Yeah.
So you're looking more at a system design. You need to make sure that these the cables and the harnesses that are connecting all these components can actually take the data that is going across them. So you need to model out what's the data going across it, how are they being broken down into various systems, and can you put 10 ECUs on one data bus? Mm. That's a valid question. Are they going to be sending so much data to overwhelm the bus?
Yeah.
So CATIA has modules to go down to that level of design as well.
Yeah.
So you can really start simulating the system and not just creating physical parts.
It's a fascinating world that really is coming through. I mean, why would you personally go CATIA Electrical versus all the others that are out there necessarily?
Well, it's first of all for the interactions with the other people in my team. So if I'm going to be working on putting a cable in a helicopter, I need to be able to route it from point A to point B. I may need to go through, for example, a bulkhead. So I can do my schematic, but once I get into the reality of what that's where those components are located in the helicopter, I may need to, for example, punch a hole in the bulkhead, or through a support. And to do that, I have to interact with my mechanical design guys, because we can't just drill holes wherever we want. We have to make sure that it doesn't affect the physical structure of the aircraft. And then we also have to have certain attaches. So with CATIA, I'm able to have that interaction very, very efficiently, and get things done, get that organized in a matter of hours, maybe 2 hours after communication with the mechanical guys, versus 2 days or sometimes even 4 or 5 days to figure out, where's the right place to do it, the mails back and forth and things like that. By the time they finished in a traditional system having that discussion, I'm already done with my entire electrical system in CATIA. Yeah. So that's the biggest reason.
You bet. So pretty much you've got that whole collaborative, you've got need for agility, products are already changing all the time. It's no longer waiting for 3-4 years for a new product. People expect them every year in some form or other. And then, of course, speed to market in having designed them as well.
Yeah. And if we look at the companies that are adopting CATIA Electrical, is the companies that you would really identify as being fast to market.
Yep.
One of our customers, Canoe, when you look at how they're doing it, they're getting a car out. They've gotten a car out faster than any other company we've ever seen.
How many months was that?
It was 18 months, 19 months, from idea, literally like 12 guys in the company, to car coming off into the assembly, or the first prototype. It's not a production car, but the first one, the announcement, the rollout of their first vehicle, 18 months later.
Yeah,
I mean, that's unheard of. And being able to do that, and saying you've got all of your mechanical design done, you've got your at least most of it done, you've got your electrical systems all planned out, is a huge feat. And there's a lot of companies like that, whether you're looking at VTOL aircraft, other EV companies, autonomous vehicle companies, all of these innovators who are having, because of their investment pressure, because the investors don't want to pay for 5 years of engineers to get a product out. They want to get it done tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's
really groundbreaking. I mean, 18 months design for an automobile is astonishing, given the time you and I have spent with automotive companies. And 3 years is fast, typically 4 years.
3 years used to be fast.
Yeah.
It's not fast anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, David. Thank you so much. Now, I wanted to talk about a program that is ongoing, that's just starting up. It is called the 3DExperience Internship Program. The world is changing. Not a lot of people are noticing it. They're too busy kind of stock market every 3 months, or other pressures that are ongoing. And obviously, we've got a few challenges right now, as we know about. But the reality is, if you look at the facts, every 50 years, I think it's 82% of large companies disappear off the face of the planet and replaced by others. Who are they replaced by? Companies that are continuing to innovate. I mean, the last few years, people have been saying, oh, poor old this firm, poor old that firm, Amazon, the big group has come in and taken them over. And probably in 50 years' time, we're all going to be saying, poor old Amazon, they've been taken over by somebody as well. I mean, that is just the way the world goes. But the reality is innovation replaces old-fashioned ways of doing things. And Amazon have been really driving our consumer mindset to smarter products, better products, more personalized, delivered faster. I mean, longer than 48 hours, I'm going to go somewhere else, as we know.
Yeah.
But the problem is, who is ideating, who is innovating, designing, engineering? Because at the end of the day, execution is everything. I think there's 4 of us kind of baby boomer people. I know we're probably not quite there, but maybe you're not, are leaving the workforce. And only one person is coming in, and automation helps that kind of brain drain, but it doesn't totally replace it.
No, you can't have one person go out and another person, or 4 people go out, one person come in. If you do the same job, you're not going to be able to get the job done.
Absolutely right.
Not enough hours in a day.
We need to bring in new minds into this innovative new world. It's essential.
So what's the solution for that, Andrew? Like, what are we going to do from XD's standpoint?
Okay, so this is our way of teaching those new ideas and knowledge, which are of course important, but as I said before, execution is everything. So it's starting to bring these ideas and brains, new skills, new attitudes, because that is absolutely everything. You can have the skills, but if you don't have the attitude, that's not quite right either. So we've got to kind of marry those two together, because execution is everything. So the program's focused on knowledge, yes, skills, essential, and the right attitude. You're young, you're coming out of education, you've just started out in the working world. Your elders are telling you you need to focus on something which is probably based upon a historical backward-looking mindset. But the world's changing. They say that you need to decide upon your future right now, but you've got no idea what it should be. And why should you? Why should you? I mean, you're 18, you're 22, you're 24, you may even be 30 years old and you've not got it figured out. Don't worry about it, because we're all going to live till we're 100 years old. Retirement ages are all being pushed out anyway, because we've got this kind of longer standing energy. And reality is you've really just come out the gate, so you don't need to get it figured out. What you need to do is, of course, taste new ways of doing things. And really, in answer to your question, David, this program is help you along that journey to figuring out where you need to be in this new 4th industrial revolution.
So how do we do that? I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you go about an internship program, but what's the way the XDI is going to do it?
Okay, so it's essentially a 6-month program broken into 2 parts. You've got your first 3 months, you've got your second 3 months. Your first 3 months are taste and try things. So we want to immerse you in the communication world. We want to immerse you in the new mindset way of thinking. That mindset of collaboration, that mindset of communication, that you learn to talk with far more experienced people than you. You learn to communicate and to learn from them, and to be able to explain to them this new way of working. Number one, we look at that. When we're going to start looking at the whole design way. So we're looking at 3DExperience, we're looking at CATIA. We're really bringing you into these new ways of doing things. So we're going to develop that, give you a taste of your knowledge, give you a taste of new skills, give you a taste of new attitudes. That's the first 3 months. At the end of 3 months, we're going to sit down with you and you're going to say, well, I really like that, and I really think I'm good at this. And we may disagree. We may actually say, well, actually, you've got some amazing talent here that you may not even know about. And at some point, we're going to dissect each other, cross over, and say that is the magic area to be, because the next 3 months is then going to specialize in that area, so that at the end of 6 months, you are certified, a certified consultant. That's something that you can put on your resume, take to the bank, and really have a good foundation for your future.
So that's really what the interns are going to be getting out of this. Is when they come into the program, they're looking for, discovering their own skills, but they're also looking for this certification. As this is certification, this certification is coming from Dassault Systems. It's not just from
Yeah, absolutely. So they're Dassault certified, and obviously they're going to get some good things from XDI Innovation as well. But this is something that really they can take to amazing employers out there. As I say, could be us, could be Lockheed Martin, could be Canoe that you mentioned earlier, could be a lot of these new innovative companies that are hungry for talent that's really invested in themselves, invested in their future, and taking that first step that many others perhaps would not do so. So it's all about that.
Yeah, and when you look at the timing of this, I mean, right now, it's very difficult in a lot of industries and things like that. But in a 3-month and 6-month window, everybody's expecting that industry will be coming back. We will have found the way to work, whether the pandemic is over or not.
Yep.
We will have found a way to work in that new environment, and those jobs are going to be in high demand.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Absolutely, because it's the future, isn't it? It is the future.
So we're not going to be a very useful skill set for our interns.
You bet. You bet. So that is the 3DExperience intern program. Really super excited because we're getting started next week with Dassault. They're on board. They've got all their training material, which is worth a lot of money, obviously, to an individual. So exciting times ahead. Yeah.
Looking good.
Good. So I'm not sure if we got any questions out there. I'm suspecting not. I think we kind of blasted through a lot of things. Let's have a look, see what we got going on. No, we are good to go, David. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us again for the second time this week. Next Wednesday, we're going to be back. We're going to be back again, but this time we're going to do a complete mashup of what we're going to be doing over the weeks ahead, who we're going to be talking to, what we're going to be talking about, what we hope will be a show dedicated to the new world, the new fourth industrial revolution, which is all about, as David explained earlier, agility, collaboration, speed to market, new ideas, new ways of doing things. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Thanks, David. It's a pleasure. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you all next week.
See you next week.